We're going to call that an estimate of mu. So x bar is called an estimate of mu. It's not, obviously it's not going to be equal to mu. It's unlikely that it's going to be equal to mu. It only estimates mu. And if we took a different sample, we would get a different x bar. That would still be another estimate of mu, but obviously they're not necessarily going to be the same, and they're not necessarily going to be the exact value of mu. When we're doing things from the sample, like here, we're calculating the mean of this, we don't use a Greek letter. We use a non-Greek letter like that. But when we're talking about things in the population, we use a Greek letter, and so we use mu. And we also use a different word. When we're talking about something from the population, I just said we use Greek. So, for example, in this case, for the mean, we use mu, and we call it a parameter. So, Greek letters are for parameters. When we're taking something from the population, from the sample, when we're doing some calculation based on data in the sample, we don't use Greek. I guess we call them Roman letters. We use Roman letters like x bar. Well, x bar is not Roman, but x bar. And we don't call them parameters, so it's kind of a strange word, you'll think. Statistic, I think it's a strange word, but we call it a statistic, okay, not a parameter. So a statistic is something from the from the sample, and a parameter is something from the population. So let's say that again. A statistic is something calculated from elements of the samples. A parameter is something calculated from the population. So, or from the whole population, I guess I should say. And for parameters, we use Greek letters, like mu. And for statistics, we use non-Greek letters, or Roman letters. Now, what does this mean? Why do we use that word statistic? So you might hear the new economic statistics came out for this month for the economy. So what does that mean? That means to me that the new economic numbers for the economy came out today. The new statistics for the economy came out today. That means what? If they're using the word correctly, or at least in the statistical sense, it means that the new numbers that we got, like for GDP or whatever, unemployment, if they're saying those are statistics, and if they're using that word in the statistical sense, then it means that these that came out are only from a sample. So we don't really know the true unemployment number. We only did a kind of an estimate of the economy by taking some sample from the economy and finding out what was the unemployment there. So they don't ask every single company. They only ask a sample of all the companies. And so we call that a statistic. So when they say the new statistics for the economy came out this week, I think that's what they're saying. That the implication is that it came from the as a sample of the entire economy. You'll never hear it, but they say the new parameters for the economy came out this week, and unemployment parameter is 2% or something like that. No, you don't hear that. They never say that. And I think that we can assume that when they use the word statistic, they are using it correctly in the statistics sense, and that is that this means that it comes from a sample of the whole economy, not the actual population. Okay, this was a little bit of a long video, but we have reviewed or covered this concept of population versus sample, and we also have said that we're going to use Greek symbols for population and non-Greek for samples, and we're going to call things from the population parameters, and we're going to call things from the sample statistics. And we also said, except for one thing, and that I don't know why, but I mean there's no good reason why, but we don't use anything Greek for this. We use capital N. I don't think that's a Greek letter. I don't think it's a Greek N or anything like that. So this is one exception. We use a Roman letter even for this population. Okay, but otherwise, we follow these conventions.